Hey, this is Ramon, channel is Alpha 4. Welcome to my ending of my Bible study series on this channel. We are going to be doing Revelation chapter 9. As I said, I will only continue on as long as there's an audience for this particular book. Right now we're down to about like 25 views per video on Revelation. So we're getting pretty down to the bottom. But who knows? Maybe 5 years from now someone will discover these videos and it'll hit 1,000. We're going to be reading out of the NIV today. The fifth angel sounded his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from the sky to the earth. The star was giving the key to the shaft of the abyss. When he opened the abyss, smoke rose from it like the smoke from a gigantic furnace. The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke from the abyss. And out of the smoke, locusts came down on the earth and were given power like that of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any plant or tree, but only those people who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads. They were not allowed to kill them, but only to torture them for 5 months. And the agony they suffered was like that of the sting of a scorpion when it strikes. During those days, people will seek death, but will not find it. They will long to die, but death will elude them. So there are several things going on there. First, it should be noted that the angel here, some people see the fallen angel, is not Satan or Lucifer. It's Abaddon. Or it's Jesus, or it's just an angel of God. It's not actually Lucifer. So that's one of the things. Secondly, the act that's being done here is the act that Jesus did by opening what the Bible would call Hades or Gehenna. He opened the gates of Hades, opened the gates of the abyss to let the holy dead out and into heaven. That's important to note. So Jesus opens up the gates of hell and lets people out. He opens up the gates of Hades. That's the act that's being reported here. So no, not Lucifer. This is not the account of Satan falling. That's not what this is. The next big thing that you're going to notice here is the locust. A lot of people see an allegory to Parthia and their cavalry here. That's just what a lot of the commentary said. From a plain read of this, obviously I don't see Parthia here. I had to read commentary to get that note, but in every single commentary I read, I think but one had the Parthian note here. And again, this is a warning because people aren't allowed to die yet. Kind of a big warning, huh? The locusts looked like horses prepared for battle. On their heads they wore something like crowns of gold, and their faces resembled human faces. Their hair was like woman's hair, and their teeth were like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was like the thundering of many horses and chariots rushing into battle. They had tails with stingers like scorpions, and in their tails they had power to torment people for 5 months. They had as king over them the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek is Apollyon, that is destroyer. It's important to note that it's not Lucifer and it's not Satan. It's instead Abaddon or destroyer. Almost everybody I've ever talked to gets that wrong. I don't know anyone who gets that correct. Not using the word hell, but the word abyss or the word void. It's basically a titan, the void of chaos. It's a primordial titan, or if you will, a primordial, a kind of Greek divinity. And you have Abaddon, you have Apollyon. There are some Christian church fathers, that is the apostolic fathers, in their tradition who make a claim that this is actually an argument against Apollo, the god Apollo, and his cult. But that is a very tentative and later commentary that's not really the same thinking that's being done here. So we can apply that thinking and use this as a condemnation against idolatry and against pagan sun worship or pagan worship of statues. Yeah, that totally fits within the themes of the Bible, but not a direct link to Lucifer or Satan. And also the angel who fell and this angel who's leading the army are not the same angel. More than that, these plagues are not sent by Satan and Lucifer. They're sent by God as judgment on the world. So this is not evil forces doing evil things. These are an army of angels doing God's work, doing God's will, I should say. So they're doing God's will in, destroying the evil of mankind, the men who don't have the seal of God on them. There should also be noted right there, there's some color themes here that the way that the words are translated into color actually distorts the meaning, because it's saying sulfur and hellfire and brimstone. It's not actually saying red, yellow, blue. And if you notice that it's talking about women's hair and lion's teeth, well, these are animals that are hard to tame. So there's a lot of sexism here as well. So, yeah. Anyway, continuing on. The first woe is past. 2 other woes are yet to come. The 6th angel sounded his trumpet. The 6th angel sounded his trumpet. And I heard a voice coming from the 4 horns of the golden altar that is before God. It said to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. The number of the mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number. For some reason, almost everyone sees the golden altar as the altar on earth and not the altar in heaven, although here it clearly says is the altar before God. I don't know what the discrepancy there is. And then let's talk about the 4 angels at the foot of the Euphrates. So the foot of the Euphrates is actually where Eden was. The real Eden, if there was an Eden, would have been there. Okay, so that Eden was guarded by an angel. There were angels actually posted to keep people from getting back in. And so this hints at those angels being released and being released with a mission to go kill 1/3 of mankind, which would be those who didn't repent. But unrepentant souls as they may kill, the number here of 4 does not match the number in Genesis. I have no idea where this 4th angel comes from. But it has to do with the 4 corners, has to do with Eden, has to do with that area. So that's what it's talking about. There are a lot of references here that say that this is actually a second reference to Parthia, or a reference to Babylonian, Assyrian, and Sumerian. But Samaria and Babylonia had fallen long ago before this book is written. Samaria, Assyria, Babylon are long gone. Even Neo-Babylon is not a power. So I would say it's mostly talking about Eden, which is not something that was highlighted in the commentaries that I read. The horses and riders I saw in my vision looked like this. Their breastplates were fiery red, dark blue, and yellow as sulfur. The heads of the horses resembled the heads of lions, and out of their mouths came fire, smoke, and sulfur. 1/3 of mankind was killed by the 3 plagues of fire, smoke, and sulfur that came out of their mouths. The power of the horses was in their mouths, and in their tails, for their tails were like snakes, having heads with which they inflicted injury. Now, to my mind, I keep on trying to envision whatever siege warfare was available at that time, the kind of weapons, the scorpions, the catapults, that kind of stuff. I play a lot of Rome Total War. I like Total War games in general, so that's kind of where my mind goes. But because that ties into the sulfur, the brimstone, the fire, which again is a deeper metaphor for something else, I think this is more talking about a spiritual truth than it is talking about battle tactics. Although there are commentaries that hint at both ways, there is no commentary that explicitly says anything about siege warfare. But to me, it sounds like it's talking about siege warfare, or the build-up to it. This seems to be building up to a large battle between Parthia and Rome, not a world war having to do with America and the Soviet Union like a lot of people read into 10, 15 years ago, into the book of Revelation. For the rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues still did not repent of the work of their hands. They did not stop worshiping demons and idols of gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood, idols that cannot see or hear or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, their magic arts, their sexual immorality, or their thefts. So this last one has a lot of decoding to do. There's a lot of layers to decode in this last section. First off, demon, is the word here being translated Damien? Because if it is, well, that just means soul. So they're worshiping evil souls? Or is the word here an actual word for angel? In that case, it would be fallen angel, which would be what we call demons. So it's interesting to ask the question, is the word there being translated gods with lowercase g and lowercase s? I don't know. I'm not looking at the Greek. I have it. I have 2 copies of the Greek. I'm not looking at it right now. Then you got another metaphor for idols. It is possible that that reference to Apollyon was actually a reference to Apollo because it fits in with the theme of the chapter. Then you have silver, bronze, stone, and wood, and gold, and these are the precious metals of that time period. They're also the material of warfare as well. But they're saying that these cannot see, hear, or walk. So there's a deeper metaphor there. I know that Jesus uses that language as well, but this is hinting at something more than just the fact that they're lifeless statues that are being worshipped. For instance, it says that there might be demons, so there might be something behind it, an empty something, but something there. It not being able to see, hear, or walk. There's something going on here, a deeper metaphor. I do think it is about siege warfare and cavalry warfare. Nor did they repent of their murders, their magic arts, and their sexual immorality or their thefts. Now, sexual immorality here doesn't mean simple adultery like we think of it. It actually means worshiping of other gods. There's a type of infidelity seen there when someone who is in one religion goes to another. They see it as a type of infidelity to change religions and to worship another god, because it's kind of like a marriage. And then their thefts. So taking from what should be sacrificed to our God and giving it to another god or to a false god. That's the kind of theft. So, like I said, there's something going on here. I do see a lot of battle metaphor going on. Hope you enjoyed this read. I hope you enjoyed my commentary. Talk to you all later. Love you all. Peace, like, and subscribe.